4th down and 6. Olbridge gotta have it. Shotgun formation. Nugent, a lot of time. Rolls out. He's running out of space. Will roll the other way. They look, corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead. And the Props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, makes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Motion man is Simmons. Trotman throwing towards Simmons down the field, and he makes the catch in traffic for a Bearcats touchdown.
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon to the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores!
And Gracie comes set and delivers. And that's it on the ground to second. Throw to first, in time, and the ball game is over. South Shore survives a late scare, and they are the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball champions. Live from the Sonny Werblin Recreation Center on the campus of Rutgers University, the PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of the 2026 Metropolitan Collegiate Conference Swimming and Diving Championships. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, alongside my PDF Sports Network colleague, Nick Durst. And Nick, we are back at the Mets together for a 5th year. We had prelims this morning. Our audience got a chance to take that in until about 12:30. We then went offline for several hours. I've been here that entire time, and finally, we are about 10 minutes out from the start of 2026's Mets Championship.
The culmination of a year or semester long of hard work here for these student athletes, some of which will race their last races this weekend. Others underclassmen looking to make a name for themselves here moving forward here in the future. We're looking forward to broadcasting all the action for you here this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And Nick, why don't we start with some bullet points and meeting the teams that we're going to be covering here this weekend. We did a quick summary for each of the programs participating. We start in alphabetical order with the Baruch College Bearcats. The men were the winners of the 2025 Mets Championship by over 300 points. The women came in second place by just 44 points. In 2024, the Baruch men came in second by just 22 points, with some standouts last year, including Kiera Chen, who was a junior last season. She won the 100 back, 200 back, and 400 IM. Elise Alexander, a sophomore in 2025, won the 100 fly, 200 fly, and 200 IM. Charles Lampasso was the 2025 Men's Coach of the Year. He returns for 2026. Of course, he wins that award by virtue of Baruch's first place finish on the men's side.
Yeah, Baruch's got to be a top competitor once again here in this meet this year, but let's look at Brooklyn College, the Bulldogs. They were fourth in last year's men's meet, just 27 points shy of third place. They're looking to move up the leaderboard this season and this season finale here at this meet. And we'll keep an eye on Michael Kravitz, who was a sophomore last year, and he won the 500 free.
Next up are the Fighting Scots of Gordon College. They finished third in both the women's and the men's meet last year, just 37 points out of second in the men's meet. Emma Lippiat was the winner of the 100 and 200-yard breaststroke for the Fighting Scots. Theo Dietrich was the winner of the 200 back and 400 IM. And then finally, Grace Haxanasto was the winner of the Outstanding Senior Award on the women's side of the 2025 meet.
For Hunter College, the Hawks, last year, just the women competed, and they came in 8th place. They were 6th in 2024. Their most recent award winner was Sarah Decker, who was the 2023 Women's Outstanding Senior Award winner.
Next up, also out of the CUNYAC, already our 4th CUNYAC program, the John Jay College Bloodhounds. They placed 6th in the women's meet last season, and they are the last of 4 City University of New York Athletic Conference programs that will be competing in the 2026 meet.
Let's take a look at the Knights from Mount St. Mary College. Women were 5th last year in the meet, and the men were 6th. Jackson Lerner was the 2025 Outstanding Senior Award winner, and the men improved their 2024 score by nearly 300 points last year, so they'll be looking to build on that. And this meet, this weekend, the women improved on their 2024 score by over 150 points.
So a lot of improvement. The field did shrink, but last year the Knights, one of the teams to capitalize on that. Next up will be Division II, Roberts Wesleyan University, a team that you and I are very familiar with, covering the College of Staten Island. The Red Hawks come out of the East Coast Conference in Division II. They were the lone women's team to surpass 1,000 points in a first-place finish last year with 1,039 points in the 2025 meet. The Roberts men also placed second in 2025, so a strong showing overall. Both teams were in the top 4 2 years ago as well. Sarah Smith, Women's Coach of the Year, and Jackie Boers, Diving Coach of the Year for both the men and women last year, returned for 2026. The Red Hawks also swept Rookie of the Meet, Swimmer of the Meet, and Diver of the Meet awards last season. Extremely impressive. Maya Webb and Cara Pilateri combined for 5 first-place swimming finishes. Emma Dykob swept the diving events in the women's meet. Anthony Pietersi and Tanner Pinto-Cone combined for 4 first-place finishes for the men. William Rugaber swept diving events on the men's side of last year's meet.
For the Sarah Lawrence College Griffins, they were 4th at the women's meet last year. Their most recent individual award winner was Genevieve Chiappetta in 2022. The women did a great job last year, improving upon their 2024 score by nearly 300 points, so that was a huge step in the right direction for the Griffins.
No question about it. And finally, we wrap up the 2026 field with the SUNY Maritime College Privateers. They were 5th in the men's meet last season with an over 200-point improvement. Rowan Hayes was their lone individual event winner in 2025, winner in the 100-yard breaststroke, as they are beginning to test the system here at the Sonny Werblin Rec Center, which means we are getting close to our start in this 2026 Mets Championship. But while we have a moment before the start of tonight's meet, we will run through some of the scores from last year. We already mentioned the winners, Baruch on the men's side, Roberts Wesleyan on the women's side. For the Red Hawks on the women's side, 10:39, followed by Baruch at 9:95 and Gordon at 9:58. On the men's side, Baruch with 1,567 points, followed by Roberts Wesleyan at 12:38. Gordon a distant third at 6:97. We also will review tonight's meet program as we close in on the start of our first event tonight. And I have that in front of me. Nick, you do as well. But if not, Nick, here's a backup paper. Run through tonight's meet program.
All right, Joe, so we are getting ready to kick things off here momentarily with the first event, which is the women's 200-yard freestyle relay. And that is going to be a very exciting event, without a doubt, as it always is. The relay races are a lot of fun. Then we'll have the 500 freestyle, the 200 individual medley, and the 50 freestyle, which you and I always love those 50 freestyle races, which are lightning quick. And you finish it off with some more relay racing, the 400 medley relay, which will conclude things here this evening for us on a Friday night.
Well, I think, Nick, that we have to open this year's meet the same way we did last year. As the swimmers take the starting blocks in just a couple of minutes, we'll have to ask the audience if they're ready for some relays, as we've opened that way, I believe, the last couple of years. We certainly did last year.
Absolutely. So getting ready here for the national anthem, and then we will dive in face first into the pool with the 200-yard freestyle relay. Women first, followed by the men.
Okay, so it appears we are going to have an anthem singer. So we are going to stay here, hopefully avoid the copyright strike, and I believe they announced Derek Woodford as the anthem singer, but I picked that up through my headset.
That's what it sounded like.
We will step aside and bring you the national anthem.
Oh, say can you So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Give it up for Derek Woodford.
And we are back from the Sonny Werblin Rec Center as Derek Woodford performs the national anthem to open up the 2026 Mets Swimming and Diving Championship. Nick, as you mentioned, we open with the women's 200-yard freestyle relay. In this event, there will be 2 heats, the first consisting of 3 teams, the second with 6 teams, and we say it every year, Nick, but we will say it several times more. Lanes 1 through 8 from the top of your screen down to the bottom. We will repeat that many times, as I know portions of our audience will be tuning in to watch specific swimmers for specific events. And Nick, what time is it?
Relay time. Oh, it's a different PA guy here, so let's get ready to relay. As we got 3 teams in this heat, as you mentioned, Joe. Lane 3 is the SUNY Maritime College, seed time of 1:58.91. Lane 4 is John Jay College, seed time of 1:49.33. And lane 5 is Brooklyn College, seed time of 1:54.10. This is the heat 2 of 3. There's no heat 1 here, only 2 heats. As every school that is here this weekend, all 9 colleges will be competing in these 2 heats here.
Through the first 50 plus, it is Brooklyn swimming out of lane 5 with a lead of about a body length headed toward the wall. Our meet sheets do not have the individual swimmers listed, so each year we do have that disclaimer that we do not.
And we also have to note here that it appears that either we're wrong on our meet sheet or the scoreboard you see in your top left-hand corner is wrong with the teams.
Well, yeah, that is true as well. I believe it is the scoreboard, Nick, because you can see with the swim caps in lane 5, that's Brooklyn.
Right, so that could be official, unofficial time, but I would assume it's the correct time, just as the wrong school is listed.
Yeah, they have errors in all 3 lanes. None of those 3 schools are in the pool, according to our meet sheet. And taking a look at those swim caps, Nick, it does appear that it is SUNY Maritime, John Jay, and Brooklyn competing in this 200 free relay. And meanwhile, as we were discussing the discrepancy, John Jay has begun to build a lead out of lane 4.
28:48 right there. That touch time for that second swimmer. So really great job by her to give John Jay the lead here at this heat.
Well, I would presume that there could be a brief delay in the meet where they adjust the board.
26:58 there to give John Jay the win. That was a lightning quick swim there by the 4th swimmer. Brooklyn College in 2nd.
We're going to pull the scoreboard down until they correct the teams. But once again, it was SUNY Maritime in lane 3, John Jay in lane 4, and Brooklyn in lane 5. John Jay taking first, Brooklyn second, and the Privateers finish that heat in 3rd, as it looks like there is some conversing going on around the scorer's table. But we will see if our second heat lists the proper schools with their lane assignments.
So far, looks like the scoreboard is still having issues. So
Well, it looks like we have a lot of confused swimmers gathered around the starting block right now. You can see it as they look up at the board. Looks like they've given the board a reset here as we get set to meet the A finalists in this 200 free relay. And Nick, we do have the correct lane assignments on our meet sheet, so you can share those.
All right, so this is going to be lanes 2 through 7. So lane 2 is going to be Gordon College, and they came in with a seat time of 146.12. Lane 3 is going to be Mount St. Mary College, 145.06 seat time. Lane 4 is Baruch College, 142.09 seat time. Lane 5, Hunter College, 143.19. Roberts Wesley University, lane 6, 146.11. And in lane 7, Sarah Lawrence College, 148.12. So based on the seat times here, obviously in the middle, of course, Baruch, Hunter College, the two favorites here. The all-time record here is 132.03 flat. Metro Trans 2016 Long Island University. That will not be touched here this evening.
All right, it appears they have corrected the scoreboard, and our A final in the women's 200-yard freestyle relay is underway. First swimmer for each program heads toward the wall and approaching the turn. It appears that swimming out of lanes 4 and 5, Brooklyn, or make that Baruch and Hunter, stroke for stroke, headed toward the touch pad.
Yes, slight advantage by Baruch here on the touch. Looks like 24.78 touch time. Right behind them was Hunter, 24.93.
Less than 0.2 of a second separating Baruch and Hunter. Right now, there is no serious threat for second place. It is Baruch and Hunter stroke for stroke by about a body length over the rest of the field.
Looks like Hunter is going to take the lead here on this touch, and that touch time was 26.41.
So Hunter gaining nearly 0.8 of a second, but the lead for Baruch and Hunter is dwindling fast in lane 3. Mount St. Mary surging ahead following that last turn.
Yeah, the Knights swimmer really, really quick. We'll see her touch time. She's going to touch the wall first to give them the lead, 24.68.
That was a great third leg for Mount St. Mary in terms of making up ground, and their lead is growing here out of lane 3 to about a body length entering the final turn. A strong underwater in lane 4 for Baruch. Will it be enough? It just might be. And we are going to have our first close finish of the evening.
Watch out for Roberts Wesleyan.
And you're right, Nick. They were a very close third, less than 0.2 of a second, but Mount St. Mary holds on during the final 25 to hold off Baruch, and Baruch held off Roberts Wesleyan by less than 0.2 of a second.
Unbelievable swim there on that third leg by the Mount St. Mary's college swimmer to really propel them into that victory. So interesting strategy, of course, there by their coach. Ended up putting their best swimmer third, and by the time she got out of the pool, it was everyone looking ahead towards Mount St. Mary College as they just swam away with it.
And I think a huge part of the Knights being able to take the lead during that third leg was the underwater off the wall. That's where Mount St. Mary extended their lead just a bit, and entering the final 50, that underwater was key in building that lead for the Knights. So they take the first win of the night in an A final. And I think we have a disqualification. So Roberts Wesleyan at the last moments closing in on potentially taking second place. Their final time was only about 0.4 of a second off the first place pace. However, they have been disqualified. So moving up into third is Hunter, followed by Sarah Lawrence into fourth, and then Gordon into fifth.
Well, let's keep an eye on Mount St. Mary College here, as two of their swimmers from this relay will be competing in the A final of the women's 50-yard freestyle later on this evening. And we can see that they might be considered the favorites after that lightning quick third and fourth leg.
Well, you see that from time to time, swimmers competing in both individual events and then relay events, and sometimes you'll look at the seed time and expect the race to shake out one way, but because of the impact of participating in a relay during the same meet on the same night, sometimes things don't shake out the way we expect. So as you mentioned going into that heat, Nick, we were looking at seed times about 1 second apart in lanes 4 and 5, and it was Mount St. Mary out of lane 3 overcoming Baruch and Hunter.
Well, we're going to move on now to the men's 200-yard freestyle relay. Going right into the final here. All the men's schools right now. So let's give you the seed times and the lane assignments. This is going to be lanes 2 through 6. In lane 2, the Brooklyn College Bulldogs, 1:32.78 seed time. In lane 3, we have SUNY Maritime, the Privateers, 1:32.04. Baruch College in lane 4, 1:25.40. Roberts Wesleyan University, lane 5, 1:28.39. And in lane 6 is going to be Gordon College, 1:32.33. The all-time Metro Champs record, 1:19.87. 2022, Rowan University. I think we were here for that, Jeff.
We certainly were in 2022. We've covered this meet in 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. Meanwhile, you mentioned those seat times, Nick. In lane 4, Baruch with about a 3-second advantage over Roberts Wesleyan in terms of seat time. Right now, it is Roberts in lane 6, that is Gordon. And in lane 3, Mount St. Mary, I believe, were the first two to the wall.
Yeah, so really all the touch times there between 21:29 and 22:73 bunched up.
Baruch in that mix as well. Third swimmer entering the pool for Gordon and Baruch.
21:17 for that Gordon swimmer there. Gave them the lead, but that lead is quickly evaporating.
Keep in mind, seed times had Gordon about 7 seconds off of Baruch's pace entering this final. And right now, the Fighting Scots holding on to a very narrow lead, and I think Baruch overtook them.
Yeah, Baruch there with a great dive in as well here by the last swimmer in the green trunks, and he's going to touch this side of the wall first.
This final turn, a big one, and Baruch maintains maybe a one-stroke lead, but that lead is dwindling fast. Gordon headed for the touchpad, Baruch closing in, and the Bearcats edge out the Fighting Scots by less than 0.3 of a second.
Couldn't have been any closer, Joe. What a race there at the end.
And Nick, the Bearcats matching their seed time exactly. 1:25.40 on the dot.
We were just talking about how sometimes the seed times
Well,
are
Nick,
off, and this time
That's in the second event the swimmer competes in, not the
Okay.
first.
But even so, in the women's heat, the seed time, we thought for sure Baruch and Hunter were going to dominate, but not the case. But now we're going to get a break here because they're going to have everybody cool down from the relays, and then we'll come back with some more lengthy swimming as the 500-yard freestyle is going to come up next. That'll be the women's. There'll be 3 finals, 3 heats, and 3 for the men's. And then we're going to keep rolling straight through till the end of the night.
So with that, Nick and I are going to step off headset as our meet heads to the first and I believe only break of the night. Nope, there will be one more ahead of the 400-yard medley relay. So with 2 relays, we will have 2 breaks. This is the first, and with that, we will step off headset. It is the Baruch College Bearcats picking up the first win of the night on the men's side, looking to repeat as champions for the second straight year. More to come from the 2026 Mets Swimming and Diving Championship following our break. And we are back here on the PDF Sports Network as we get set to resume night 1 of the 2026 Mets Swimming and Diving Conference Championship. Our 200-yard freestyle relay is in the books, and beginning shortly, will be the 500-yard freestyle on the women's side. There are going to be 3 heats. Same goes for the men. And for the women, every heat is packed. Lanes 1 through 8 all occupied. Nick, we have plenty of time. Let's meet the swimmers.
All right, well, here we go. Just wanted to make this point here that as we go through these events for the rest of the night, quick and fast and furious, on our meet sheets, as we say every year, most of the first names are cut off. So if it's on the scoreboard,
If it's not
like
on
it
the
is
board,
here,
I will pull it out of the roster.
right, okay, so here we go. So lane 1, Rebecca Kimotek from Maritime College. In lane 2 is Cindy Castaneda from Baruch. Lane 3, Emily Bubb from Roberts Wesley University. Lane 4 is Molly Nettles, Hunter College. Lane 5 is Grace Driver from John Jay College. Lane 6 is Gwendolyn Posner from Hunter College. She had a 32.85 touch time there in first place at that point. Jocelyn Engel from Sarah Lawrence College is in lane 7. And Christian Zhao from Baruch College is in lane 8. So our first event of the evening with all 8 lanes filled.
Swimmers head back toward the touch pad. About a quarter of the way there with this touch. In fact, exactly a quarter of the way there. It's not often I have to pull out my swim math, Nick, but
Yeah, it's tough. It's not easy to do.
Well,
Gwendolyn Posner in first right now with Emily Bubb
it's,
behind her.
it's counterintuitive. I'm very used to football math when you have to figure out how many yards are they from the end zone, how many yards was that touchdown. We don't have statisticians. They have great statisticians here, but unfortunately they were across the
You'll
gym.
be working with a master statistician on Sunday, Joe Calabozo, who will be your broadcast partner.
Well, we call him that in jest. Joe Calabrese joins me on the call Sunday. You and I back here tomorrow night, Nick. Plenty more to come from the Mets Swimming and Diving Championships.
Molly Nettles close it in. She has a 38.84 touch there. Gwendolyn Posner, 39.41. And they're going to be really close here as we head to the wall.
It's always tough to gauge exactly which way these longer events are going to go early on. We've seen swimmers come out in the past with very different approaches, some building a lead by as much as 25 yards. And that doesn't hold, especially if you pick that lead up within the first, let's say, 250 of a 500.
Yeah. And a lot of these times in these longer races, this is a long race. Obviously, we'll see the really long races on Sunday, but it's always not how you start, it's how you finish. So oftentimes we see a school jump out to an early lead and taper off at the end. But in a race like this, the 500, it could potentially be coast to coast in this length of race for the leader.
Well, a lot of the time as well, when you get these crowded fields, all 8 lanes occupied, especially in the lower finals, C and the B finals specifically, you'll have teammates matched up with one another and perhaps just a bit of bragging rights on the line because points are not on the line. So
Molly and Gwendolyn in this race from Hunter College going head to head, and they're 1-2 right now in this race.
something else to keep in mind, even though the B and the C finals don't register points, you have swimmers competing in these events that are looking to peak with a season best performance. So even though these swims don't show up on the scoreboard, for these athletes, especially those for whom it may be their very last time competing in this specific event, these swims mean a lot, and they're looking to, in some cases, end their career with an all-time best performance, or perhaps for those not in their final swim, at the very least looking to achieve a season best in a particular event.
Yeah, it's all about their legacy, so to say. They want to hit those personal bests, personal records. This is what they work to all season long, and in some cases 4 years long worth, to get here to put their best leg, arm, foot forward here in the Mets.
And I'm taking a quick look to see if there are any schools in the pool right now with a swimmer not competing in a B final or an A final, and it looks like SUNY Maritime and John Jay would be the two that do not have a swimmer in either the B final or the A final coming up. So I think when you have that situation as well, that's something to keep an eye on when a team's foremost swimmer in a given event is competing in the C final. That time could mean a lot to that specific program, depending on the longevity of that program. So that's always something to keep an eye on as well.
Certainly the case. And right now, Joe, we're say almost at the little past the halfway mark.
We're well past the halfway mark. Believe that we are, when these swimmers reach the wall, the leaders, 75 yards from the finish.
Okay. Hard from my angle to see the numbers underneath.
By the time tomorrow night is done, you will be an expert in swim math. We do have a tough angle for those placards. We did also alter our camera angle this year. We moved the camera into the walkway a bit, but that allows us a view of the starting block in lane 8, right on the edge of the frame. If we go any wider or any lower, then you might have some spectators entering the frame, but I think this alternate view compared to what we had last year is a bit better.
Well, this will be it here, like you mentioned, the last
Lead
lap.
is about a body length for Nettles in lane 4. It does not appear that she's going to be challenged. Nettles maintaining that lead, now growing beyond a body length, and she is going to take first in the C final of the women's 500-yard freestyle. Closely behind her by about 2 seconds is Emily Bubb. Taking third is Gwendolyn Posner in lane 6. Grace Driver in lane 5 takes fourth. Swimming out of lane 2, it is Cindy Castaneda in 5th. In lane 1, Rebecca Kamayotek takes 6th. Kristen Zhao takes 7th, swimming out of lane 8. And finally, Jocelyn Engel will take 8th, swimming out of lane number 7. And that will do it for our C final in the women's 500-yard freestyle. Our B final set to begin in just moments with those swimmers waiting at the starting blocks.
Yeah, well, as they get ready here, I'm going to wait for the scoreboards to update because my meet sheet doesn't have the first names. Here we go. So in lane 1 from Gordon College, it is Kaylee Gormley, and her seed time was 6:21:43. Lane 2, Steph Summer from Mount St. Mary College, and her seed time was 6:19:31. And lane 3,
we have Parvina Bonu, Makma Deliva. She was swimming last year, Nick, and I actually watched back night 1 from last year yesterday, and she competed on night 1 last year as well, and we have the rosters handy, so
there we go. So
not at the mercy of the
we
scoreboard.
got her first name there. Thanks, Joe. And her seed time was 6:11:96. Lane 4 is Ava Greengrass from Sarah Lawrence College, and her seed time was 6:11:35. In lane 5, it's Emma Brule from Gordon College. Her seed time was 6:11:41. Her teammate in lane 6 is Arwen Hefner. Her seed time was 6:16:79. And in lane 7, it's Krista Burgess from Sarah Lawrence College. Seed time of 6:20:31. And her teammate, Olivia Huey from Sarah Lawrence College as well. Seed time of 6:30:82.
And those seed times, the first 3 that you mentioned, Nick, very interesting. 3 swimmers clocking in with seed times between 6:11:35 and 6:12. So we could be in for a very closely contested race, and wouldn't you know it, all 3 swimmers, lanes 3, 4, and 5, Makma Deliva, Greengrass, Brule, all to the touch pads within about 0.4 of a second of one another.
Yeah, very close, bunched up, and we're expecting this race to be around that time of the seed time, 6:11. And right now, they're just trying to set the pace here and early on as they're about 2 minutes, 16 seconds into this one. So plenty of racing still to go. You don't want to come out of the gates too strong.
And when you have 3 seed times that are that close, it's always interesting to watch which swimmer separates themselves and when. Because right now, if you look at where the 3 stand, it is Makhmudaliyeva with a bit of an advantage on the turn, or at least entering the turn. Now it's getting a bit closer once again, but she was the first to pick up a lead of maybe half a body length. I'm curious, how long does it last? It appears it might not be too long, and for her, she generated that lead at about, I'd say, the 200-yard mark. I think that was lap 8.
37:48 touch there. Emma Brule, 37:44 touch.
That was actually lap 9, so we have reached the midway point. Now, looking at the placards, Nick, could there possibly be a mistake on the placard in lane 5? Because I thought Brule was with Greengrass and Makhmudaliyeva, but her placard in her lane
but
is off.
She's 2 laps
Yeah,
behind.
I don't think so. I think that's an error.
Now her placard's saying 7, so she's going in reverse here.
They're going in reverse. You know, I have to say, Nick, I would mentally prefer the placard to be shown to me underwater in reverse.
Yeah, me too. So now how much is left?
Yeah.
I don't be doing the math in my head. Okay, it's lap 12. I got 8 more to go.
Yeah.
There's 7. Nobody doing math while underwater.
Yeah. I think, these student athletes are pro at it, not.
Go to college with the revolutionary method there, but that's just Emma, because next to her is Hefner, and in lane 1 is Gormley, and they're not doing the backwards method.
That's a good point you make there. Swimmers from the same program utilizing different methods. And I have to say, Nick, I'm with Emma on this one. I think I prefer the placard counting down. But when you've done it one way your whole life, as I'm sure many of these swimmers have, never even considering another option, to then change it up later
What's
would throw you off your
is
game.
In lane 2, Steph Summer, her spotter actually puts the numbers in upside down and backwards. So I guess she's reading it on the flip. Not sure. Keep an eye on that, Jim. Up in lane 2.
So I'm sure what's happening is on the turn.
Right.
She then catches it. Now in lane 2, the number is right side up
this
there.
This time, maybe she just made a mistake last time, but this time it says 17. So.
So it could be that she was a bit late.
Right.
That's possible. Meanwhile, Makhmudaliyeva still leads, swimming out of lane 3 as we enter the final 50.
Yeah, great race for her right now. She appears that she will win this one.
She has a lead of a bit more than a body length, maybe closer to 2. With our slightly skewed perspective, it can distort things for us just a bit. But it's a comfortable lead now for Makhmudaliyeva in lane 3. And she will take the B final in the women's 500-yard freestyle. There is a very tight race for 3rd. It's going to be Brule in 2nd. Any of 3 swimmers could take 3rd. And taking 3rd place is Arwen Hefner. Steph Summer will place 4th. Kalia Gormley will place 5th. Krista Burgess 6th. Now, it looks like we had a touchpad malfunction.
Lane 4.
Though, it just didn't register. That's a bit odd. It reset the time in lane 4. So Ava Greengrass is waiting for her time to be officially registered. So disregard some of what I said. But Greengrass definitely finished in the top 5.
Off the way to the official announcement on that, as the A heat woman make their way to their lanes.
Swimming in the 85 women's 500-yard freestyle in lane 1. She was fourth at the Skyline Championships in the 500.
Speaking of the A final in the women's 500-yard freestyle, the winning time last year was 5:25.65. That time belonged to Cara Pilateri. Pilateri was the rookie of the meet for Roberts Wesleyan last season, and she will swim out of lane number 3. Her seed time, 5:32.33, so that is well behind her time from last year of 5:25.65. Nick, let's meet the rest of the swimmers.
Yeah, you got to question if she just knew that she'd be able to qualify for the A, so she took it easy in the prelim. But obviously keeping an eye on her to be the favorite here. But let's take a look at all the competitors here in this Heat 3. In lane 1 from Mount St. Mary College is Angelina Magnero, and she had a 5:58.76 seed time. She's a graduate student. In lane 2 from Sarah Lawrence College with a seed time of 5:40.47 is Julia Maker. Lane 3, you mentioned her, Joe, from Roberts Wesleyan University. Seed time of 5:32.33, the sophomore, Cara Pilateri. And lane 4 is Grace Follett from Hunter College, the freshman with a 5:22.88 seed time. Moving over to lane 5 from Gordon College, it is Kendall Smith, a freshman swimmer, with a 5:28.07 seed time. Lane 6 is Roberts Wesleyan University's freshman Sky Micklethwaite. Joe, that'll help.
I would say
Micklethwaite.
You know, that is a tough one. It's not a name I've ever seen, I have to admit. I would say McClethwaite.
McClethwaite, that sounds proper. So McClethwaite is there in lane 3, and she had a seed time of 5:39.66. Harper Yanks from Gordon College, the freshman, 5:58.08. And Caitlin Chavez from Baruch College, senior, in lane 8, 5:59.58. Joe, she's the only upperclassman in this race. Of course, in lane 1, you have the graduate student, but everyone else a freshman or a sophomore.
We also have the Division II and Division III NCAA cut times. In the 500-yard freestyle, the A time in Division II, 4:49.42, and the B cut, 5:03.89. In Division III for the 500 free, on the women's side, it is a 4:48.70 A cut and a 5-minute 0.16 B cut. The invited time in 2025, 4:58.89. Do not have the invited times for Division II.
Well, this is going to be a quicker race. Obviously, these are the best of the best here in this race, because Joe, looking between heats 2 and 3, usually the top seed in the heat 2 is kind of close to the last seed in a heat 3, and not the case here. We're looking at a big difference of 11, 12, almost 12, 13 seconds.
Not one swimmer in this A final posted a seed time of greater than 6 minutes. And to put things into perspective a bit more, the top seeded A finalist, Grace Follett, posted a time of 5:22.88. That was about a minute and 35 seconds ahead of the bottom seeded time in the C final. So that puts into perspective the separation between the C finalists and the A finalists. And in terms of only the A finalists, Follett's time was about 5 seconds, a bit more than 5 seconds faster than her next closest challenger during the prelims.
Yeah, Follett, the freshman, looking to really make a name for herself here in this race and make Hunter College proud and come away with some major points as well.
Don't know if you mentioned it yet, Nick, but I do not believe we mentioned the record time of 4:50.06 for the Metro champs. Based on seed times, that unlikely to be challenged.
Yeah, that was Maria Trubetinsnia from Bridgeport back in 2012.
We're beyond the midway point now, and with the lead swimming out of lane 4 is Grace Villette, true to the seed time. Her lead a bit greater than a body length here.
She'll look to have a strong last 2 minutes here in this race for her. See if she could break her seed time record.
I think when you reach the A final and you have competitors that are not competing in a relay later or have not competed in one already, and it's highly unlikely that any competitor in this event would have competed in the relay already, knowing this was coming up. But when you have competitors without any other obligations tonight, this is where you look for those personal bests and program records in an A final, night 1. Bit of a shorter program, at least by my estimation.
Yeah, not as many races, and the races are not as long. Also should note here that this 500-yard women's freestyle is sponsored by the Green Grass family. First time seeing that, Joe, but the Green Grass family, obviously Ava swam in heat 2, but they have sponsored this whole 500-yard freestyle.
And they give a shout out to the Griffins of Sarah Lawrence College. Good luck to the Griffins, says the Green Grass family. Let's hope they said that. It wasn't just printed there. Let's hope that was their sponsored message. Have to make sure they get their sponsorship worth.
If you want to be a sponsor, you could sponsor some of our broadcasts moving forward as well.
Well, unfortunately for the audience throughout the weekend, or perhaps fortunately, the only commercials they will be seeing are from YouTube sponsors. But if you'd like to sponsor the PDF Sports Network, you can shoot us an email at pdfsportsnet@gmail.com. Your commercial will then air in every PDF broadcast for the next calendar year. You can sponsor segments, commercials, and more. We'll make the commercial for you.
Yeah, what a great deal that is for sure. And right now, back in the pool, Grace Villette, a body length ahead, looking like she's going to coast here into victory.
Villette unchallenged, and she did surpass her seed time. Meanwhile, in the lanes alongside her, both swimmers, Piliteri and Smith, improving upon their seed times as well. In 4th place, Sky McLethwaite did the same. In 5th, Julia Maker, a bit off the pace of her seed time by about a second. Yinks takes 6th, Chavez 7th, and Minero 8th.
Our next event is the men's 500 yard freestyle.
Men's 500 coming up next.
C final.
Heat 1C final, as we'll get you set for that. In this event, overall last year in the A, Michael Kravitz, who we mentioned at the top, sophomore from Brooklyn College, won, so we'll keep an eye on him in P3 later on here. But let's give you all the competitors right here. This is going to be lanes 1 through 7. 1 through 7. So lane 1, the freshman from Brooklyn College, Max Soltzman, prelim time 6:05:46. Lane 2 from Mount St. Mary College, Kyle Giuliano, and he is a sophomore with a 6:01:31 seed time. Lewis Cornell is from Baruch College, and he is a freshman with a 5:43:54 seed time. Ryan Colombo from SUNY Maritime, lane 4, junior, 5:36:80 seed time. And in lane 5, it is Joshua Charia from Baruch. He is a freshman with the 5:40.44 seed time. Johnny Mins from Gordon College, the sophomore, 5:55.13 prelim time in lane 6. And Anthony King in lane 7 from Brooklyn College, the freshman, with a 6:04.59 seed time.
Those are the competitors in the C final of the men's 500-yard freestyle. Lanes 1 through 7 occupied in this heat. And once again, it is relatively close through about a quarter plus into this 500 free. With the lead approaching the wall, swimming out of lane 3 is Luis Coronel. His lead maybe a stroke or two over Kyle Giuliano. Swimming out of lane 2, closing in lane 5 is Joshua Chiraya. And it looks like all 3 of those mentioned swimmers will reach the touch pad at just about the same time. 4/100ths of a second separating Giuliano and Coronel.
Giuliano 33.04. So he was the leader there as far as the touch time.
Well, that underwater off the wall by Coronel in lane 3 just made up some ground, and it appears that on the turns he's been able to pick up some distance on Giuliano, but once they emerge from the underwater, it looks like Giuliano has the slight edge. And you can see those lengthy underwaters for Coronel in lane 3, but above the water, it has been Giuliano steadily improving upon his advantage. It's closing in now in about a body length.
Yeah, he's swimming very well above. Coronel coming off the wall really strong.
Yeah,
Gets
really strong.
About a quarter of the way down the pool. But above the water there, you see Giuliano excels, but looks like Coronel's going to overtake him on this.
It almost seems like off the end wall, Coronel gains a second wind. You can see off the touch pad, he doesn't get quite the same burst.
Yeah, more solid, I guess. I don't know, or maybe he's just.
It's not even the underwater burst I'm talking about. It's even above the water. It doesn't appear he's moving quite as quickly coming off the touch pad at any point during the ensuing 25 yards.
Yeah, looks like Giuliano regaining his lead here. And like you mentioned, here it goes on the touch pad. Now they're side by side.
Yeah, they're stroke for stroke now. And if Coronel can stay stroke for stroke, it seems like his underwaters might be able to carry him to a win in the C final. Right now, the closest swimmer to that duo in lanes 2 and 3 is swimming out of lane 5. That's Chiraya. And Nick, there it is. The underwater off the wall has Coronel in the lead now.
Yeah, Coronel with 5 lengths to go. Touching the touch pad first here with 33.64 touch time. Giuliano 34.65.
And if you really focus on the touch and then when those two swimmers emerge from underwater, there is a stark contrast in approach. And you can see off the wall, Coronel emerging at least a quarter of the way, if not a third of the way across the pool.
That's how he's that's not kind of, that's definitely how he's been able to build his lead here in this one.
Yeah, that lead is about a body length now, and he has about 25 yards to go following this turn. And his lead has only grown off of what would be the final turn, and you can see in lane 2, Giuliano exerting. Giuliano overtaking, and Giuliano is going to win it. He saved his best for the final maybe 15 or so, Nick, and he surges past Coronel to win the C final. Look at that split.
He improved over his prelim time by 36 seconds. Unbelievable. Him and Coronel really push each other in this one.
I have to admit, Nick, he saved his absolute best for those final 15 yards. That was impressive. You don't often see a swimmer turn it up like that at the end of a 500 plus, but Credit to Giuliano in lane 2. That was quite the finish.
Great swim there by him.
You have to wonder if Coronel saw him coming.
Cornell might have thought he had it, and then all of a sudden he looks up.
Yeah, off the wall, he had to think he had it, Nick, because you make that turn, and you have to catch a glimpse of that lead you have
Right.
at some point, and it was a fairly sizable lead.
All right, so here we go. Heat 2 now. Lane 1 from SUNY Maritime is Alex Anastasiadis, and he had a prelim time of 5:31.93, sophomore. Lane 2 is his teammate, Marcus Innamorato, and he had a prelim seed time of 5:21.59. He's a freshman. Lane 3 from Baruch, Leo Valdivia. Senior had a 5:16.81 prelim time. His teammate, Michael Guzman, right next to him, lane 4. The senior with a 5:14.32 prelim time. Lane 5, I have his first name is just E Taranto. That's on our sheet. That's on the board. Maybe
Interesting.
Look into that
Yeah,
further.
we'll get the roster
Mount
out
St.
and
Mary
see.
College. He's a freshman. 5:15.88 prelim time. Lane 6 is Ewan Montgomery from Gordon College. He is a freshman. 5:21.38 prelim time. And in lane 7, Jaden Parshall from Roberts Wesleyan University, the junior, 5:30.70 prelim time. And in lane 8, it's Cooper Hardy, the freshman from Gordon College, 5:33.13 prelim time.
That is Ethan Toronto swimming out of lane 5. I thought it would be odd that just one swimmer would go by their initial, but you never know.
And the scoreboard has him as E. Big E Toronto, Ethan in lane 5, representing Mount St. Mary College.
I do go by an acronym sometimes. Not a single letter, though. Though my family does call me Jay.
Interesting.
Well, my family knows me as JR. They don't know me as Joe, Joseph, none of the above. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Joseph Robert, my middle name.
But they just called you Joe.
Yeah, my family calls me Jay or JR.
I didn't know that you were the new modern day JR.
Yep.
Be a good way to differentiate you and Joe Calabrese on Sunday. JR and Joey Cals.
On the call. It's a close heat as the swimmers have reached the midway point, headed toward the wall. That last touch brought us to the midway mark. I think it was Toronto by 1/100th of a second through the first 250.
Yeah, Ethan and Guzman close. We'll see who touches first here on the touchpad. And it's going to be Guzman, 32.28. Toronto, 32.80 on that touch.
Well, if you really want to test your math skills, you figure out where they were by the split time and the total time. That's a job for the producer. Have somebody over there with the swim math program open, whatever that may be. We'll have to get our stats crew from over on Staten Island invested in learning swim stats. Bring one of them with us next year.
They could do the graphics as well.
Well, I'm a jack of all trades here. Once upon a time, before we had the scoreboard up on the screen, we would flash the participants in each event.
I remember doing that the first time we were here.
First time, yep. Picture in picture was a revelation. We never went back. Much nicer to have the scoreboard in the upper left.
Out nice and clean look as well.
They have a nice board here. We might as well use it.
So looking at about, say, a minute left of this race, perhaps, based on the prelim times and how long we're into this race right now.
The lead in lane 4 for Michael Guzman has grown significantly. At one point, it was a race between lanes 4 and 5 to see just how closely they'd reached the touch pads, and now Guzman has really separated himself. But Nick, if we learned anything during our previous heat, it's do not write off any swimmers until that final touch.
Yeah, we'll see what Valdivia is able to do here, but looks like Guzman's gonna have this one.
Sure does.
Over a body length right now, halfway through the pool.
Guzman closing in on victory. Behind him, Valdivia. It appears that in lane 6, it will be Montgomery in 3rd, followed by Toronto in 4th. The race for 5th, closely contested, or I should say the race for 5th and 6th, closely contested. But it will be Morado 5th, Hardy 6th, Partial 7th, and Anastasiadis 8th. And Nick, how did I do that so easily? He competed last year.
Familiar names always make things better for the sophomore there. Now we're getting ready here for the A final. And as I mentioned before, the winner of this event last year was Michael Kravitz, who is indeed in this final. His time last year of 4:56.69. Eric Wren from Bridgeport, the record holder for 25:10. That was set in 2017. And Kravitz here, a bit of a drop-off in his prelim time from last year. We'll talk more about him when I get to him. He's in lane 7, so let's walk you through the lanes here. As right now, the screen is not updated, so I'm going to hold off so I can give everybody's first names properly. But talking about Kravitz, Joe, lane 7, 5:10.39 prelim time. As I mentioned, he won this event last year, and he had a much better time of 4:56.69. So something to keep an eye on here. He's coming in here with the 7th best prelim time, but we know he was able to win it last year, but purely based on the prelim times, where last year he won 4:56. He's going to have his work cut out from in this one with Weber in lane 4, 4:46 prelim time. He also sang, oh, he didn't sing national. Derek Woodford sang national as lane 5. Now we got the lane assignments here, so let me walk everybody through this. In lane 1 from SUNY Maritime, it is Alex Oisimpenko, and he is a sophomore, 5:10.86 prelim time. Matt Klimek, his teammate, sophomore as well, 5:10.21 prelim time in lane 2. Tanner Pinto-Cone, Roberts Wesley University's very own sophomore, 4:59.30 in lane 3. Lane 4, I was talking about him before, Raphael Weber, Roberts Wesley University as well, 4:46.11. Lane 5 is teammate Derek Woodford from Roberts Wesley University, a sophomore, 4:56.42. Joe, stop me if you heard this before, but in lane 6 from Roberts Wesley University, so 4 Roberts Wesley University swimmers here, lanes 3, 4, 5, 6. That's Josh Meese. He's a freshman, 5:03.88. Prelim time, Michael Kravitz, the defending reigning undisputed champion, the junior from Brooklyn College, 5:10.39 prelim time. And in lane 8, Greg Tarantiev from Baruch College, 5:13.83 prelim time. Raphael Weber, true to form, with the early lead, 25-24 on the first touch.
Right behind him was Kravitz in lane 7, and you have to wonder, is a part of it knowing about what you needed to do to make the A final? He cut it a bit close, swimming out of lane 7 did Kravitz, and we will see if he can defend his crown in this event. You mentioned it, Nick. He won it last year. 4:56.69 was his time last year. That would be about 10 seconds off the pace set by Weber during the prelim. So a lot of ground to make up, and early on, Weber is impressing.
Yeah, Weber forced to be reckoned with here, and I'm not exactly sure how the points work, but Roberts Wesleyan with 4 swimmers in the A final has to be big for them.
I have a document with how the points are allocated. We will pull that up during the next break.
So 4 out of the 8 swimmers in the A final from the same college.
And one of those, you mentioned Woodford, the national anthem singer, Meese, and Weber, also Roberts Wesleyan. Tanner Pinto-Cohn, swimming out of lane 3. He was the winner of last year's Rookie of the Meet award on the men's side. I mentioned it during our pre-meet coverage in case our audience missed it. Roberts Wesleyan swept Rookies of the Meet, Swimmers of the Meet, Divers of the Meet.
Yeah, that's why they had such a great meet.
However, they were still nearly 300 points behind Baruch on the men's side.
Looking to change that script here, the narrative, by the end of this weekend.
It's a lead of maybe 2 or 3 body lengths in lane 4 for Raphael Weber over his teammates. And I don't need to know exactly how the meet is scored to know that if you finish 1 through 4, it's pretty good.
Yeah. A lot of points there.
If I forget to pull that up during the next break, you have to hold it against me.
Fair enough.
We have a lot
I'm
of
sure the
paperwork
comment
out
section will hold it against.
You know, I have to admit that the comments were more alive during the prelims. I think a lot of people on their lunch break were checking out the prelim stream at the desk in the office.
And more swimmers involved in the prelims, obviously, but
that too.
Maybe they're more confused about the commentary in the prelims, so they have to comment.
Well, that fortunately was not an issue. I did introduce the prelims. I was on headset when the stream got started.
Looks like divers are warming up. I'll be diving.
I think what happens as well, Nick, is a lot of your audience will show up on a Friday night after work.
Very true.
We're at about the 3/4 mark here in the men's 500-yard freestyle A final. After this event will be the 200 IM. And we only have 2 heats for the women and the men in that event. From here, Nick, we pick up the pace.
Yeah, love the 200 individual medley and really love the 50-yard freestyle after that. Then we'll have another break before concluding the night with some more relays. 400-yard medley relay.
I'd say the lead for Weber has decreased slightly over his teammate Tanner Pinto-Cohn in lane 3, but he still has a nice sized advantage here as he touches ahead of the final 50.
All right, we'll see what's going to happen here. Doesn't look like Kravitz is going to defend his crown. Right now, looks like he's making a bid for 3rd place.
Strong final turn, and you could see Weber really exerting here in this final 25. And he posts a time of 4:48.63. A bit off of his seed time, but still nearly 8 seconds ahead of last year's winning time.
Yeah, as for Kravitz here, he did better in this race by a second than he did last year when he won, and he still dropped down to 3rd.
So it's Weber winning the A final in the men's 500 free, followed by Pinto-Cohn, Kravitz, Woodford, Oshipenko, Meese, Klemek, and Terentiev.
All right, we're going to move on now. I'm going to go through this as quickly as possible because it's a shorter race. Women's 200-yard individual medley. As you mentioned, Joe, only 2 heats. So heat 1 here, the B final, Lane 1 is the freshman Helen Bueller from Baruch. Lane 2, the sophomore from Brooklyn College, Yara Sheikh. Lane 3 from Hunter College, Annie Huang. And lane 4 from Brooklyn College, Antonetta Bayerga. And lane 5 from Mount St. Mary is Ruva Gondo. In lane 6 from John Jay College, Luciana Uriade. In lane 7 from Baruch College, Daria Voinitskaya. And in lane 8 from John Jay College, Salem Williams Joe. I always get so tripped up when the PA guy is step in step with me, and I always end up messing up. So apologies to
all right.
Daria.
That's why there's 2 of us here. She competed last year as well, and I have to say, watching back night 1 last year, one day before covering night 1, was a great boost. I think I'll do the same for night 2 as I go to bed tonight. Because a lot of the same names that you saw last year compete in the same events again this year. We're at a point now where there are some swimmers in this meet that we will have covered for their entire collegiate careers.
Yep. I'm sure they love. They could always go back and watch their swims on PDF Sports Network.
I always say, Nick, when we cover collegiate events, our first job is to make the student athletes look good, make them look as good as we can. My second objective is that when they go back and watch the standout moments from their career that we've covered, that they don't click the mute button, that they want the call as part of those moments. Meanwhile, in the breaststroke, Antonetta Bayerga gained plenty of ground on Ruva Gondo, and she has now taken the lead.
Right now,
Bayerga
has a nice sizable lead here.
She really separated herself with the breaststroke, and it looks like she is going to shave a considerable amount of time off of her seed time. At least 5 seconds, it appears. Not quite. Make it about 3 seconds. Gondo secures second. Wang takes third. Uriarte fourth. Sheikh fifth. Voinitskaya sixth. Always tough to get eyes on lane 8 from here, but our camera has a nice view of it. We have to lean over the concrete barrier separating us from the spectators, but it is Bueller in 7th, and it will be Williams in 8th.
All right, so as we get set here for Heat 2, the A final, I will point out that in last year, that Elise Alexander, the sophomore from Baruch, won this event. She's back in it this year. 2:14.03 was her winning time. 2:18.25 her prelim time. And who can forget in 2022, Joe, when Kinsey J. Brooks from Mary Washington set the meet record 2:01.49. That was a lot of fun calling that record-setting performance, if you remember it.
I do recall calling that. That was our first year on the call, second year. Oh no, it was the first. That was our first. Time flies, Nick. I had a lot less gray hair in 2022.
All right, so as we get set here, the finalists will walk in a moment. But Alexander, she's has to be the favorite here, Joe, to go back-to-back. Junior now, and she does come in with the best prelim time as well.
And you mentioned Alexander ahead of this event, and in any other year, she could have won Swimmer of the Meet last year, but just chose the wrong year, as Maya Webb, the senior from Roberts Wesleyan, also won 3 individual events, and she edged out Alexander for that award.
Yeah, this is going to be Alexander's year without Maya Webb. obviously as freshman we don't know about, but she could be considered a favorite here for swimmer of the meet as well. But in this particular final here, you got St. Lawrence College, Hunter College, Robert Wesleyan, Baruch, Gordon College, Robert Wesleyan, Baruch, Hunter College. So the schools are pretty well represented in this particular final. So here we go, as I will give you the competitors. Lane 1, sophomore from St. Lawrence College, Hannah Banana, as the public address announcer referred to her as Drum, 2:33.13 prelim time. Leanne Winter, Hunter College, lane 2, senior, 2:29.65 prelim time in lane 2. Lane 3 is Roberts Wesleyan University's.
I believe last year they announced her as Joni. You and I discussed it on the broadcast last year, and I believe you said she was announced as Joni Arzaluz Garzon.
All right, she is the senior, 2:20.83 prelim time. Elise Alexander, as we just mentioned, from Baruch, the junior now, 2:18.25 prelim time. Evie Lecoq is a freshman from Gordon College, 2:18.58. Kara Chang, lane 6, the senior from Hunter College, 2:28.64. Sophie Langiao, the freshman from Baruch, 2:32.04. Lane 7, Paige Kern, sophomore for Roberts Wesleyan University, 2:36.03 prelim time, as the swimmers get ready to dive into the pool.
And to throw it back to our conversation from before, very briefly, Nick, in 2022, you mentioned Kinsey Brooks set the meet record in this event. That year, the University of Mary Washington won the meet. They scored nearly 1,500 points on the women's side, winning by nearly 200. She also won Rookie of the Meet and Swimmer of the Meet that year.
Huge force. Hope she's up to good things these days.
I have to check what conference they compete in. Is it possible that they would compete in the NJAC? I'm not sure.
Could be.
Because we're covering that event on PDF as well. That game, or that event, I should say, that meet is behind a paywall on Boxcast. But the rest of our crew is in Virginia covering that meet. And true to the seed times, Nick, Alexander building a sizable lead as she approaches the touchpad right around the midway point.
Oh, she's looking to defend her crown.
Right lead nearly 4 seconds.
Yeah.
We've reached the third leg of this IM, the breaststroke. And Alexander, unsurprisingly, first to the wall. And a very strong underwater for her. Sets her up nicely. A couple of those out of lanes 3 and 5 as well. Arzaluz Garzon and Lecoq swimming out of those 2 lanes. Final 50, Alexander with a sizable lead. Nearest competitor is Lecoq in lane 5. No one is going to challenge Alexander as she makes her final turn. Her lead only growing as she approaches the touchpad. Keep in mind her seed time, 2:18.25, and she is going to beat that by about 4.5 seconds.
Yeah, and she bested her winning time from last year, which was 2:14.03, so 2:13.86. Alexander defends her crown in this race.
Lecoq second, Arzaluz Garzon third, Chang fourth, Winter fifth, Lengiel sixth, Drum seventh, and Kern eighth.
The next event is the men's 1B final.
So the men will take the pool next. Heat 1B final coming up. And we're getting set here. And they're in the pool. So Aiden Hope in lane 1. Parker Andress lane 2. Michael Saharov in lane 3. Michael D'Ambrosio in lane 4. All those guys in lane 1, 2, 3, 4. Samuel Liao in lane 5. Braden Mitchell lane 6. Paul D'Ambrosio, who maybe we could assume was brothers with Michael, in lane 4. He's in lane 7. And Eric Kiev from Brooklyn College is in lane 8. And these guys are off to a great start here. Best prelim time was D'Ambrosio. Michael in lane 4, 2:12.28. And we'll see if he's the one to beat in this race.
Well, Nick, you speculated what Kinsey Brooks might be up to. I can tell you what Mary Washington's been up to the last couple of years. They are competing in the New Jersey Athletic Conference, so that means Dave and John are covering them down in Virginia as we speak. But they won their first appearance in the NJAC Championship in 2024, and they finished second with nearly 1,400 points last year, falling to another former Mets program in Salisbury University.
Two forces to be reckoned with from the Mets.
I believe that the NJAC also has 9 members. Maybe it was 10, but I was speaking to Dave about it today. It seems like that's the number that a lot of these conferences are settling around. You and I covered this meet several years ago in 2022. I believe there were 16 teams that competed.
Yeah, it was electric in here, that's for sure.
Very crowded. Very crowded. The teams alone took up most of the Sonny Werblin Rec Center seating.
Yeah, there's always a lot of excitement with those big conference races.
It's a close race out of lanes 4 and 5, but Michael D'Ambrosio is going to hold on by about half a second. A bit more than that, his lead over Samuel Lau. Michael Saharov takes 3rd, Braden Mitchell 4th, Parker Andress 5th. We have a malfunctioning touchpad, I believe. So it might have been Paul D'Ambrosio in 6th. And then I would suspect that Hope and Kiev will round out the field in 7th and 8th, but they'll have to address that touchpad malfunction. Timekeeper will head over and share that time out of lane 7. But we're set for our A final. And in just a few moments, we'll meet the swimmers. Nick, what did this event look like on the men's side last year in terms of the winning time?
Well, the winning time goes to a man who is actually in this event once again this evening. So that was Roberts Wesleyan's freshman 150.89 time, and that was Antoni Pieterse, Joe?
I would say Pieterse. But
so he won last year.
I'm no expert.
Pieterse won. His prelim time 158.41. And he was 150.89 to win that one. Ivan Kapan, 2016 record holder from Bridgeport, 148.28. So let's give you everybody who's in this race right now. Andrew Wu, the freshman from Brooklyn College in lane 1, 2:08.15 prelim time. Theo Dietrich, lane 2, the junior from Gordon College, 2:04.21 prelim time. As always, you see him in lane 3, Ramil Fangirsch from Baruch. He's always in this race. The junior from Baruch, 159.74. And as we mentioned, Antoni, and he's from Roberts Wesleyan University in lane 40. Peter Sai is in lane 4. Rowan Hayes from Maritime, 159.36, the junior. Lane 6, Daniel Basilikov, the junior from Baruch, 203.76. AJ Merced from Roberts Wesley University in lane 7, 206.14. And in lane 8, Liu Cabagnan from Roberts Wesley University as well, 211.81 prelim time.
Well, we did get the announcement of Anthony's last name over public address. I listened in. Petersa. So pronounced like a long A sound. So I wasn't really that close. Not often I butcher it that badly, but it's a good thing that gets shared over public address. And I also listened in. He holds the record in 17 events for Roberts Wesley.
Crazy.
That almost seems impossible.
Yeah, it's surprising someone swimming 17 different events.
Yeah.
As he's swimming in
if I
200
heard
meters
that-
and 1,500.
If I heard that correctly, that's incredible.
I didn't think there was that many events.
He's also an All-American in the 100 fly.
Well, he's flying right now, and we'll see if he is able to easily win this race or if anyone gives him some competition, whether it's Hayes or Fingers, lanes 3 and 5, or someone else in the field.
An All-American in the fly, and a good start with a lead of just over 1 second through the first 50 in this 200 IMA final. Petersa to the wall here, and his lead grows to about 2 body lengths following that turn. He is showing no signs of slowing down as we've reached the midway point.
Yeah, 28.55 touch time there on that split. Well ahead of the competition by
a second and a half ahead of the next closest competitor.
Yep. He's got about almost a half full month lead right now.
Closest competitor to him is Rowan Hayes, swimming out of lane 5. Hayes was the winner in the 100 breast last year. So that last stroke in the third leg of this IM, his strongest. But nobody's going to catch Petersa, and he looks like he is going to win this by a sizable margin. Will he challenge his time from last year? Not quite. He posts a 151.62. Hayes second, Feingersh third, Dietrich fourth, Vasilkov fifth, Merced sixth, Wu seventh, and Kabanayan will take eighth.
All right, now we're going to turn the page and on to our favorite individual race of the weekend, and that's the 50-yard freestyle, Fast and Furious.
Rattle off those last names.
Got to get those names real quick here. Lanes 1 through 8, lane 1. Tremblay, lane 2. Vanderhoof, lane 3. Schisler, lane 4. Boschetto, lane 4. Quiller, lane 5. Quiller, lane 6. Wainwright, lane 7. Chisholm, and lane 8. Herbert.
You got it in ahead of the 25-yard mark. And off the one and only turn in this 50 free, it is a nice-sized lead for Quiller in lane 5. She's going to take the C final. And the Hunter College swimmer will pick up the win. Haley Quiller takes first in this C final. Very quickly followed by Schisler, Boschetto, Chisholm, Herbert, Vanderhoof, Wainwright, and Tremblay.
All right, Heat 2, Joe. B final, lane 1, Torres. Lane 2, French. Lane 3, Gadus. Lane 4, Bradshaw. Lane 5, Hapsis. Lane 6, Burgess. Lane 7, Servin. And lane 8, Carroll.
You got that in probably ahead of the 10-yard mark this time.
See if I can best that before Heat 3, which I probably can because they'll introduce the swimmers.
That is true. I was going to say you'll have to rely on me in the B and C finals. Once I shut up, you can get those names in. Meanwhile, this is going to be a very close finish. It appears that in lane 5, Hapsis with a slight edge, and Bradshaw overtakes her by 4/100ths of a second.
Incredible. Great swimming there.
Bradshaw 1, Hapsis 2. Gaduis 3, Torres 4, Burgess 5, French 6, Carroll 7th, and Cerven 8th.
All right, here comes the A finalists. Taking a look back at last year, Maya Webb, the swimmer of the weekend, the event last year, the senior from Robert Wesleyan, she won this event with a 23:86 time. The record is 23:02 by Megan Brazier from LIU Post, set in 2016. And we will go through the swimmers here now as we get set here. Amelia Berg, a freshman from Sarah Lawrence College, 26:58 prelim time. Lane 2 is Gordon College's sophomore from 26:05 is Emma Lapiette. In lane 3 is Kayla Nicholas from Mount St. Mary College, 23:35 prelim time. Lane 4, Antonia Liccardi, Mount St. Mary College senior, 24:64 prelim time. Lane 5, Tegan Lewis from Roberts Wesleyan University, 25:02 prelim time. In lane 6, it's Lizzie Bailey Ham from Brooklyn College, 25:53. She's a sophomore. Ashley Leal, the sophomore from Baruch, 26:20 prelim time. In lane 8, rounding out the field, Joe, is there a better first name than this for swimming? Oshina Elefante from SUNY Maritime, 26:66 prelim time.
I believe she had family in the live chat as well, and they'll get a chance to watch her compete in this A final momentarily, but blink and you'll miss it. 50 free, A final on the women's side coming up in just a few moments. And Nick, very quickly taking a look back to last year, I mentioned Maya Webb with her strong performance in last year's meet. This was one of the events she won. I said it any other year, Alexander Baruch could have won swimmer of the meet. Not last year. Webb winning this event with a 23:86. That is about 0.8 of a second ahead of the fastest seed time. That belongs to Liccardi in lane 4. Swimmers all head to the wall just about stroke for stroke. And it remains that way in lanes 3, 4, and 5. You can add 6 to that mix as well. It's anyone's race. It appears Liccardi will take it in lane 4, posting a 24:67 in this A final to win it.
Like you said, blink and you might miss it. Fast and furious, 24 seconds to declare the winners. On to the men's now. We'll run through the last names. Of course, the immortal Ben Michelson set the record in 2003, 1940. C final, here we go. Lane 1, Jaden Diaz. Lane 2, Christian Diaz. Lane 3, Samuel Ochoa. Lane 4, Dylan Baker. Lane 5 is N. Dewey's, don't have his first name. Cheryl Coca in lane 6. Perlick in lane 7. And Kane, Braden Kane in lane 8.
Lead could be held in either lane 4 or 6, it appears, but Deweese in lane 5 in the mix as well as the swimmers head toward the touchpad, and it will be Baker in lane 4. Dylan Baker wins the C final in the men's 50 free, followed by Deweese, Ochoa, Sharo Kaka, Diaz, Kurliuk, Diaz, and Kane.
Heat 2, lane 1, McManus. Lane 2, Pineda. Lane 3, Baldwin. Lane 4, Kim. Lane 5, Spencer. Lane 6, Springle. Lane 7, Hamakiotis. And lane 8, Soggs. Got it out, got it done before the race started. The swimmers couldn't even get to the pool, Joe. That's how quickly they started.
Well, that's been customary. Swimmers wait just beneath the starting blocks, and as soon as the following heat begins and the swimmers enter the pool, the previous swimmers exit. Meanwhile, Hamakiotis will make that Springle in lane 6 with the lead, and he's going to take the B final. So easy to mistake lane 6 for lane 7 when I have lane 8 obstructed from me, but it is Ethan Springle who takes the win in the B final of the men's 50 free, and he enjoyed it with a bit of a, what would you call that, a backflop celebration?
Yeah, well, we could call it that. Why not?
And the lights get just a bit brighter ahead of our A final in the men's 50 free. The swimmers making their way to the starting blocks.
Yeah, looking at this last year, the A final winner was Youssef Al-Koulay for Baruch the senior. So obviously he graduated. The open field here on this one. So we get ready for the A final. Jonathan Harvey, the freshman from Roberts Wesley University, 22.88. Prelim time for Harvey. Lane 2, Sage Steffen, junior from Gordon College, 22.03. In lane 3, I believe it's Jamie. It's cut off on my scorecard here. Barnaw, the junior from Gordon College, 21.77. Could be James as well. I'll pause to hear from the public address announcer to hear what his first name is.
I will help you out with that, Nick. We have the
James.
rosters.
It's James. Lane 4 is Alex Boyarski from Baruch College, the freshman, 21.55 prelim time. Kyle Dumas, the freshman from Gordon College, 21.66. In lane 5, Lucas Vasquez, the sophomore from Baruch College, 21.79 in lane 6. Hayden Smith, the freshman from Roberts Wesleyan, 22.76 prelim time. And Orr Volpert, the freshman from Brooklyn College, 23 second prelim time in lane 8.
Winning time in this event last year for the men, 21.08. You mentioned that, Nick. Youssef Al-Koulay posting that time in 2025, swimming for Baruch College. Our top seed time ahead of this A final this year, 21.55. So perhaps a chance to surpass last year's top mark. A half a second, not something to shrug at, but doable. Certainly doable.
Here we go.
And that has to be tough. Take your mark, get back up, and then get back down again. That's not the way I'd want to start. Swimmers head for the wall, and I believe the first to make contact was Bernard in lane 3, but the lead belongs to Vasquez in lane 6. Can he hold it? This would be an upset based on seed times, and he could not hold it, Nick. It's Alex Boyarski taking first. Vasquez will settle for second. Dumays takes third. Bernard takes fourth. Steffen fifth. Smith sixth. Volpert seventh. And Harvey eighth.
Boyarski did that backflip as well, so must be a thing over there in lane 4. And that's going to conclude our individual races for the evening. And we're going to have to step aside, Joe. 10-minute break because some of these swimmers might be back for the 400-yard medley relay coming up in 10 minutes. So 7:16, maybe 7:17 p.m. We'll be back for the 400-yard medley relay. We're going to have 2 finals for the women and one for the men. So not much time left on opening night here at the Mets.
All right, Nick, we are going to head to a break, as you said, for 10 minutes. Our audio will go out during that time due to the music selections. That would give us a copyright strike, and we can't have that. So audio out for the next 10 minutes, and when we come back, we wrap up night one at the 2026 Mets Championship with the 400-yard medley relay. Joe Foreman and Nick Durst back with you from the 2026 Mets Swimming and Diving Conference Championship. And Nick, it's relay time.
Yeah, let's get ready to relay here. The last event of the evening, women's 400-yard medley relay. To kick things off here, and we're going to have two heats. So the first heat here is going to be SUNY Maritime College in lane 3, John Jay College lane 4, Brooklyn College in lane 5. Brooklyn College's seat time was 4:42.72. John Jay was 4:38.96. SUNY Maritime was 5:13.68.
Through the first 50, John Jay and Baruch. Right. I've done that, Nick, for 5 years. It's so easy to see BC, having covered the CUNYAC for so long, and to assume Baruch College. That is Brooklyn College. I wonder how many times I've covered those two programs outside of this meet. I would think it's double digits for both easily.
You've done a lot of baseball back in the day.
Yeah.
And softball.
I think there's a chance I've reached 100 between the two programs. I've probably called 100 of their games.
You're a bit of a CUNYAC expert.
Well, let's not get carried away. The CUNYAC experts down in Virginia.
It's true.
That, of course, my partner here at PDF and our colleague David Pizzuto. He's on the call with John McCooch at the NJAC Swimming and Diving Conference Championship. So if you want to check that out, you can head over to pdfsportsnet.com. I believe that's where the link to the Boxcast live stream is. That's the one disadvantage of a Boxcast live stream. It's a bit hard to find. You can't really share it as easily. When you say YouTube, everyone knows where to go. But Boxcast does have a very nice app. If you search for the PDF Sports Network, you'll find our channel there, and you can check out the NJAC Swimming and Diving Championships as well. That is behind a paywall. Those decisions made by the conferences themselves. But here at the Mets, they've kept it free for the last 5 years. Second leg of this medley relay, the breaststroke, and John Jay has built a lead of about a body length.
Well, looks like this is going to be John Jay's to win here.
Butterfly up next, and it's one of those situations where too early and too close to call, but Bloodhounds with the advantage. They maintain that advantage off the turn, but their lead is shrinking. Brooklyn closing in out of lane 5. By the time they reach the touch pad, they might just be a stroke apart, perhaps close to even.
Very close right now. 31-28 split there for Brooklyn. John Jay was 33-60, so Brooklyn College came out really strong there.
0.2 of a second separating that last touch for each of those two programs. And it looked like the Bloodhounds reached the wall a fraction of a second ahead of the Bulldogs, but those two sides now stroke for stroke approaching the touch pads.
Get ready for the last swimmers to come in, I believe.
Well, it appears as if it's going to be a situation of which team sends in the better swimmer for the last 100. Off the entry into the pool, John Jay drastically increasing their lead. Meanwhile, the Privateers preparing to send their final swimmer into the pool. John Jay beginning to run away with this one. In this final freestyle leg of the 400 medley relay, this is the B final. 2 heats for the women's 400 medley relay, just 1 heat for the men. And Nick, I did promise that I would get the scoring breakdown, and I misspoke earlier. All 3 heats do score, though there is a great disparity, of course, between the points you can earn as a C finalist, a B finalist, and an A finalist. But I misspoke. The C finals do score points. However, all of those scoring totals are single digits, going from 1 up to 9. The top time in the C final gets 9, and then the rest of the finishers, if there are 8 swimmers, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fair enough. So obviously when you have 4 swimmers in an A final, it's a lot of points.
That's big time points, exactly. Big time points.
So John Jay victorious in this one here, 4:36.81 time.
And the Privateers clock in at 5:17.87. John Jay 1, Brooklyn 2, SUNY Maritime 3.
All right, moving on to the final heat here. And before we do, I want to let everybody know that the Metro Champs record for this event, 3:43.04, set by Long Island University in 2015. If you can believe it, Joe, that's 11 years ago. Wow.
Nick, don't remind me.
Just seems like yesterday, you know, Mets, World Series run, Citi Field.
2015 was a big year for me. I'll tell you why after we meet the teams.
Yeah, well, you graduated college, right? So,
yep.
Well, we'll talk more about that. Let me introduce you to the teams here. Lane 2, Hunter College, 4:29.76 seed time. Lane 3, Roberts Wesley University, 4:22.17 seed time. Baruch College, lane 4, 4:17.13 prelim time. In lane 5 is Gordon College with a 4:18.53 seed time. Sarah Lawrence College, lane 6, 4:29.50 seed time. And in lane 7, Mount St. Mary College, 4:33.60 seed time.
So 2015, Nick, as you mentioned, it is the year I graduated college. I attended the College of Staten Island for 4.5 years. I added on 1 extra semester, but that was also the year that I met my current business partner, David Pizzuto. He was my professor in Sports Management 504, the final class I needed to get my business management degree. You could say that's where my voice was discovered for broadcasting. He brought me on to the game day staff at CSI, and the rest is history.
The rest is history.
From game day
staff. Put it in the books.
From game day staff to assistant SID
to athletic
communications coordinator. And now I maintain that same title, but primarily my duties are the play-by-play commentary and live streaming for all of their games, alongside my partnership with Dave here at PDF.
I know you have a lot of fun doing those games. For the college stuff. I wouldn't know much about that, but in the pool right now
you
here.
You were there for several years.
We have a bit of a close race here between lanes 5 and 6, 4, 5, and 6, all within a body length of each other.
Off the turn, it is a lead for Baruch, swimming out of lane 4. About a body length behind in second is Sarah Lawrence, swimming out of lane 6. Gordon, currently in third, swimming out of lane 5. Gordon closed the gap with Sarah Lawrence a bit and have now surpassed the Griffins, swimming out of lane 5. And very quickly, Fighting Scots are closing in on the Bearcats.
Big push here for first place.
You never really know how the standings will shift with each leg of this 400-yard medley relay. One swimmer exceptional at a particular stroke can completely turn the tide, pun intended. So, are there really tides in a pool?
No, but I think when they jump in the men's final, you should say splash.
That is my signature. And for those who don't know, whenever the College of Staten Island, the Dolphins, whenever they make a three-point basket, we call splash. When we were covered on ESPN Plus playing at Division I Fairfield, they had tuned in to some of our live streams and picked up some of our tendencies. They made note of them on that broadcast.
Very nice. Neck and neck here, literally here, as Baruch and Gordon College are going to touch virtually at the same time.
Wow, look how close. 1/100th of a second.
2:14:23, 2:14:22. Can't get any closer than that.
Two programs that have had a lot of success here at the Mets in recent memory, going head-to-head in lanes 4 and 5, looking to secure first-place points in this A final. It is Gordon now with the lead of maybe a stroke or two, perhaps about half a body length in those terms, but Baruch still staying close.
In the relay race, you got to hold nothing back. You got to go full stroke from the beginning here. You don't need to save anything for the end.
Final leg in this 400-yard medley relay coming up. Baruch and Gordon competing for those first place points. It looks like the Fighting Scots will get to the touch pads first. We'll see their advantage in a moment. About 1.6 seconds.
Fighting Scots with the lead right now over the Bearcats. But Bearcats are closing in, Joe.
They sure are. The final leg, the freestyle. 50 yards to go. And Baruch, off that turn, has taken the lead. And that lead is growing. Bearcats first to the wall. And their lead is closing in on a body length. It looks like Baruch is going to take it in the A final of the 400-yard medley relay. Gordon will take second, and Sarah Lawrence in third for much of this relay will finish in that position.
Tremendous job there by Baruch, bettering on their prelim time, which was 4:17:13, 4:15:17 here in the final to come away victorious. And if you could believe it, Joe, it's now time for our last event of the evening. Friday night always a shorter night, so I anticipate as this race finishes up, we'll be here even later tomorrow. More events. And you'll
taking a look at the program, you would be correct.
You'll be here early tomorrow, and then you'll be back here late.
I'll be here for the start of prelims tomorrow. I then travel to Staten Island to call our men's basketball game. We will have our PDF colleague Alex manning the equipment. I come back in between sessions. I call our second basketball game remotely, and then at 5:30 you join me to call night 2 here at the Mets. But Nick, still more work to be done tonight. Let's meet our finalists in the men's 400-yard medley relay.
All right, let's keep rolling right on here. One heat, just the A final. That's it. Lane 2, SUNY Maritime College, 3:51:55 seat time in lane 2. Gordon College, lane 2, 3:41:42 in lane 4. Robert Wesleyan University, seat time of 3:30:97. Lane 5, Baruch College, 3:35:87 seat time. In lane 6, Brooklyn College, 3:43:88 seat time. And in lane 7 is the Mount St. Mary College Knights, 4:04:48 seat time.
As I mentioned before, just one heat for the men. Lanes 2 through 7 will be occupied as we get set to begin our final event on night 1 here at the Mets.
And the record holder is University of Bridgeport, 2014, 3:15:35 was the time set. Summer's getting ready to dive into the pool, Joe.
Our board has briefly depopulated, so we might have to rely upon our meat sheets here.
Swimmers dive in, splash, and now they're going to get ready for the backstroke.
I missed it. I missed the opportunity. Well, we can wait until
the next people
swimmer
dive
2
in.
enters, and then we can exclaim splash together. And it's very interesting to see the different starting postures ahead of the backstroke from all the different swimmers. If you took a look down the line, they were all positioned very differently to get this relay started. First to the wall, Gordon out of lane 2, not far behind, and make that Gordon in lane 3, not far behind Roberts Wesleyan in lane 4.
Touch time, Roberts Wesleyan 26-13 was the best. Gordon, College, and Baruch both 26-26.
In lane 4, Roberts Wesleyan first to the wall in that last turn. They will be first to the touchpad as well. Baruch, however, not too far behind as the Bearcats
splash.
That's what I was about to say, Nick. We've done this together for too long. How many years have you and I been calling events together now? 7? We probably got on some baseball in 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
So, but us calling games together will be far and few between moving forward here. But this is our main event for you and me, of course, all year long.
With the lead in lane 4, the Red Hawks, and they are building upon that lead. Clearly, the breaststroke giving them more of an edge. Swimmers set to enter the pool here. First for Roberts. And then simultaneously in lanes 2, 3, and 5, the Privateers, Fighting Scots, and Bearcats all entered the pool. However, they are well behind the pace of the Red Hawks right now.
Yeah, just when these swimmers dove in, Roberts Wesleyan had just a little over a 4-second lead, and that has been expanded big time here.
Well, unsurprisingly, Anthony Vitursai swimming the butterfly and only extending his team's lead. He approaches the touchpad with one final swimmer to enter for the Red Hawks, and their lead is about half the length of the pool here. Make it the full length of the pool. And the race for second currently favors Gordon by about 2 body lengths. The Red Hawks are going to take first and have secured first place points, or not quite yet. Jumped the gun there a bit, Nick.
Yeah, well, it's a given now. Just one more lap.
You hate to say it's a lock, but it's a lock.
About a pool and a half length lead right now for Roberts Wesleyan, and they're gonna swim into victory right now.
First place points for the Red Hawks. Second place points will belong to the Fighting Scots. In lane 5, Baruch will take third, followed by SUNY Maritime in 4th. Brooklyn closing in on 5th. They will be followed by Mount St. Mary in 6th. With that, Nick, we wrap up night 1 of coverage here at the Mets.
Some exciting swimming, and we don't have the points in front of us, but safe to assume Roberts Wesleyan right now probably in first place on the men's side overall.
Well, we will have official scores tomorrow when we come back online for our final heats at 5:30 tomorrow night. However, there is still plenty of coverage between now and then. Prelims begin tomorrow at 10 a.m. That is 45 minutes earlier than the prelims began this morning. Our events tomorrow, the 200-yard medley relay, women's 3-meter diving, men's 1-meter diving, the 400-yard IM, the 100 fly, the 200 free, the 100 breast, the 100 back, and then finally we close with the 800 freestyle relay. All of that coming up tomorrow. Once again, prelims begin at 10 a.m. Diving prelims get started a bit later. I believe our diving prelim stream is going to go live around 12 p.m. However, I do believe the diving prelims begin at 12:30. We have to make sure we mic up the announcer. We have to get all of that set up ahead of the start of diving prelims tomorrow. You can catch those prelims on our YouTube channel. Separate streams for the main pool and diving. That is very important. Tomorrow, the streaming for prelims of the main pool and prelims for diving, those will be separate. Both are included on our 2026 Mets Swimming and Diving Conference Championship playlists. But until then, this has been Joe Foreman alongside Nick Durst on the call for night one of the 2026 Metropolitan Conference Swimming and Diving Championships. Tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. for more prelims coverage, at noon for diving prelims, and then finally at 5:30 tomorrow night as Nick and I will be back on the call for night 2 of finals here at the Sonny Werblin Rec Center on the campus of Rutgers University. Everyone, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your Friday night. We'll see you back here on PDF Sports Network tomorrow.